guys, so let's talk about the interest section. And how we got here again is just in the details targeting section, browse, and we're going to look into some interests. Business and industry. And again, one of the cool things here, guys, is you can actually select all. So if you want to just select everything related to business and industry, you can do that by just clicking this button here. Or if we're trying to, target specific stuff to people who are interested in specific business and industry categories, we can do that as well. So if we were like, a digital marketer, for example, literally targeting people who are interested in advertising, this would be a great one. Again, people that would be interested in a Facebook ads course would probably be, interested in advertising. Architecture, maybe we're took on an architect or an architect firm, into our Facebook ad agency, and we were running ads for people who are interested in architecture. That might be an interesting one. Aviation could be, maybe we were selling like toy planes, for example. Business is kind of a general one. I probably wouldn't do that particularly often, but construction might be a good one. Maybe we're selling a brand new construction utility belt, or again, maybe we were contacting some local construction firms in our particular city, and we were saying, hey, we think we could get you more clients for your construction company, and this might be one of the ways that we did that, right? People who have expressed an interest or liked pages related to construction. Engineering, entrepreneurship, obviously a great one. Higher education, marketing, nursing. This is a good one that we've used in the past, specifically for nursing products that we've had really a lot of success with. Science, small business, again, good one for my particular targeting. Targeting people who are interested in entrepreneurship, small business is a great one. We see entertainment here, right? Films, games, again, gaming. Is a huge one. First-person shooters, gambling, MMOG, MMORPG. These are, kind of like the WoW games. But I have friends who've started clothing companies and all types of different companies just related to targeting gamers. It's kind of like one of the biggest up-and-coming niches. There's an unbelievable amount of money to be made kind of in competitive gaming, in what's called esports. And so these are kind of some of the good detailed targeters that you can use to kind of find these people, because, like Alienware and some of the companies are doing a fantastic job selling, mouses for professional gamers, kind of like the premium mouses, or like gaming chairs, for example. There's a lot of money being made, and kind of, using these targeters to find people who are interested in those type of things is a really good strategy. So maybe if we were running ads for a local bar or club that was trying to kind of build some interest around their grand opening, we might target people who are interested in bars or dance halls or nightclubs, music festivals, right? Parties. These are all really good ones that we could individually split test with some other targeting that we'd be able to then see whether or not that was actually making a difference. Music, this is a fantastic one. If we were like advertising on maybe like there was a local nightclub in our city that like only played hip hop or only played dance music, maybe we could run some ads for them and choose dance music, for example, as one of the targeters that we're using to show ads to only those people, right? Reading, all types of different stuff there. Television programs. And so, that's a pretty good one in entertainment. Family and relationship is a really good one. If we were targeting, dads, there's an unbelievable amount of money to be made targeting dads, people who are, people who have expressed an interest in or like pages related to fatherhood, targeting people like a Papa Bear t-shirt, for example, or, targeting things that only dads would like or dads would be more likely to like. Marriage, motherhood, parenting, weddings, there's so many here. It's just unbelievable. And you would never know that these existed, that Facebook allowed you to target these things, unless you kind of just like went through this and went down the rabbit hole. I know this is probably not the most exciting thing. I know that, people love just like kind of seeing ads really being made. And I promise we're going to get to that and it's going to be really good. But this is just kind of like one of the final steps that we need to build this beautiful kind of solid infrastructure foundation to be able to really leverage the true power of Facebook. Meditation is a good one. Bodybuilding, right? I have friends who've started, fitness companies and who've kind of used me to help consult how to set up some of their advertising campaigns and targeting people who are interested in bodybuilding, physical exercise, physical fitness, right? We would split test this as a single interest. We'd use their lookalike audience. We'd duplicate it. We'd target people who are interested in physical exercise. We'd duplicate it. We'd target people who are interested in bodybuilding. And then like we'd see, bodybuilding was giving us like $1 per click. Physical exercise was $2 per click. Physical fitness was $3 per click. And so we'd start to scale bodybuilding because it had, the cheapest cost per click. Weight training is another good one. Yoga, there's a ton of money to be made. People who really kind of came out at the initial onset of the popularity of yoga online, and were selling yoga mats and these things that were incredibly cheap to produce. But you could sell kind of for a premium because people who were interested in yoga felt comfortable spending a little bit extra money on it because it really made them happy and feel relaxed, and help deal with some of the things that they used yoga for. So that was fitness and wellness. Food and drink, right? We can target people who like beer. People who like beer are also kind of likely to like other things, like country music. People who like beer generally like sporting events, right? And so you'll kind of start to, as you become, more and more well-versed with Facebook advertising, you'll start to find out that there's indirect correlations, right? People who like certain things are also likely to like certain things. And, we don't need to do that guessing because we can actually go on Audience Insights and we could type in beer as an interest and we can see what other pages that people are actually liking or much more likely to like if they also like beer, right? So instead of, creating those avatars and trying to make all of these assumptions, we're just looking at the data because we're smart enough to know that data exists and how to find it and how to interpret it. There's a ton of money to be made in cooking. People love cooking. It's a passion. It's a hobby. When people are passionate about things, they're willing to spend money on it. So, kitchen-related products, cookbooks, even like cooking courses and things like that. I've seen people do, huge numbers there. You can target people who like specific cuisine. Specific food and drinks. Veganism, right, is a huge one. Vegetarianism. People who are vegans and who are vegetarian usually feel very passionate about that. And when people feel passionate, again, there's money to be made. And so, I love people who are vegans. I love people who are not vegans. It doesn't make a single difference to me. What does make a difference to me is, creating profitable businesses. So restaurants, you can target people who like fast casual restaurants, fast food restaurants. If people like McDonald's, I'd probably target people who like McDonald's if I had like a novelty shirt that had like some, play on the McDonald's Golden Arches or something like that. Hobbies and current activities, arts and music. Right, look at all this stuff. Like we don't have to go through every single one by one, but there are ones that are cool, right? Like gardening, for example, is people are very passionate about gardening. Pets is one that is absolutely flabbergasting how much money there is to be made in pets. The people who kind of came out on the onset of monetizing cats and dogs through jewelry, through merchandise, t-shirts, through dog collars, all different types of things, just made an absolute fortune. And now that there's such a ridiculous amount of people on the internet using the internet, we can actually look at other types of pets, right? Birds, fish, horses, and there's all types of different related products or services that you could actually market to people. And you can, team these things with being local. Like maybe you have a horse stable and the business that you run is, taking care of people's horses when they go on vacation. Obviously, you'd want to target people who like horses. Or maybe you have like an aquarium business. Obviously, you'd want to be targeting people who showed an interest in fish. Right? Or maybe you had you sold lizards or reptiles or snakes or something and you had a pet store. Obviously, you'd want to target people who had an interest in reptiles. Politics and social issues, obviously a very politically charged kind of polar subject that is, there's a lot of money to be made. People who are interested in travel, this is a fantastic one, right? Travel. Lots of stuff here. People who are interested in beaches, probably like if you owned a travel company or maybe you had like a tourism company and you wanted to target people who were interested in, you wanted them to join your tours. Maybe you had something in like Thailand or something, for example. You could target people who are interested in beaches, who also showed an interest in cruises, who also showed an interest in holidays, right? And the more and more of these things that you're actually stacking onto each other, the more and more that you can get targeted, and you can actually find, your perfect audience who's also like maybe expressed interest in tourism, for example. And again, like I said before, some of these things are algorithmically based. Like tourism, for example, like there's no like tourism Facebook page, but using these things as kind of a basis to start, just to kind of get the wheels turning. Because again, I don't know, no expert Facebook marketer knows your perfect audience. No one does in the world. The only thing that we can do, even as complete experts who spent millions and millions of dollars on Facebook and who like live and breathe this stuff, the only thing that we can do is make much more intelligent guesses than the next person, right? But still, at the end of the day, the only thing that is going to tell us the answer to what our perfect audience is by making a ton of different, quote unquote, shots in the dark with a lot of intelligent thought up front to create those in the best possible way. But a lot of split tests, and then interpreting the data, right? Which we're going to go through so in depth because it's so important. Interpreting the data and being able to tell what's working and what's not, what to scale, what to actually hold back, using automated rules and just kind of like using logic and, our experiences. We can target people who are interested in boats, for example, scooters, people carriers. I have no idea what a people carrier is, but that sounds interesting. Beauty is a fantastic one. There's an unbelievable amount of money to be made in cosmetics. I think Kylie Jenner really showed us how much money there was to be made. There's over 628 million people interested in cosmetics. If that gives you an idea of, what kind of numbers we're talking about here. And another interesting thing, guys, is we can really see, based off of these things, how interesting or how interested, the general population is. If we're trying to decide what business to get into if we're not particularly tied to one thing or another. I generally recommend people to get into business of things that they know about and are interested and passionate in. But if you just didn't care at all, you could come in here and say, okay, beauty salons only has 350 million people interested, but cosmetics has 628, right? So if I'm going to choose between a fragrance company with 190 million people or cosmetics with, 430 million more people interested, obviously I'd probably want to do something that had, all of these interested people, because what that allows me to do is, know that my audience is big enough to be able to scale my company kind of to the moon. Spas is a good one. I just actually bought a spa, so maybe I'm interested. Maybe I'm number 287,422,041. Facebook. Tattoos is a great one, a very, very passionate fan base that you can, target maybe people who are interested in tattoos. If you're running ads for a tattoo parlor, which is a great one that I actually don't even know if I have in my 5th module, but I'll make a note actually to add that. But yeah, running ads for tattoo parlors that are trying to get more people to come to their store, maybe like in San Diego or Las Vegas or New York or wherever you are, targeting people who are in the New York area, who are interested in tattoos, maybe who've also like a famous tattoo artist, maybe like or a TV show or something like that. That would be a great way to kind of do that initial push to get, your best guess to put out there, to get those split tests running, to really figure out who your perfect target audience is. Clothing is a good one. Obviously, there's an absurd amount of people interested in clothing. 600 million people interested in shoes. Fashion accessories, dresses, handbags, jewelry, right? These are very huge, enormous audiences, but kind of using these to start then and narrowing down people who are interested in sunglasses, but maybe they also like Kate Spade because the style of sunglasses of your stores kind of mimic hers most closely, who are also interested in the beach. Maybe you have like an island vibe for your Shopify store or something like that. Shopping, this is a great one. People who are interested in coupons, right? Maybe you are running a discount for your Shopify store, running 50% off coupons. If you know for sure that your target audience are people who are interested in coupons, they're probably more likely to kind of be incentivized by your coupon than somebody who has not showed interest in coupons, right? Again, same with discount shops. Or if you're selling that luxury kind of premium bicycle that we talked about earlier, maybe we should have gone back and tried luxury goods as one of the targeters that we were actually using to split test on, which I'm sure I would have found eventually if I was running this. But luxury goods seems like one that would be perfect for selling, like an $8,000 or $10,000 kind of premium top of the line type of exercise bike. Toys is a good one. Sports and outdoors, right? Boating, camping, right? We talked about camping earlier. Horseback riding, maybe we could, do, if we were targeting, people who are trying to sell people horse-related products. We could target people who are interested in horses, and then they must also match that they're interested in horseback riding, just so we can know that we're cutting out the people who just like horses in movies, or like something not necessarily related to horse products, or they don't own a horse or something like that. Surfing, there's a lot of money to be made in surfing, especially in San Diego. Right, very specific here, 100 million, which is obviously a huge audience, but still definitely something that there's a lot of money to be made. Sports, again, this is a great one. I'm sure if we put in American football, it would probably give us an affinity of people who also liked Bud Light, for example, or Coors Light. Baseball, a lot of stuff here that you can do. If you're targeting, maybe you were targeting, you created a Shopify store and you got like a licensing agreement from Stanford or something like that, and you were selling Stanford football merch. You could target football here, and you could target college football also, and then you could type in in the demographics area here in education, you could do schools and universities. You could do Stanford, and then you could say and must also match, and you could do interests here, sports and outdoors, sports, and you could do college football, right? So now we know that Stanford University and must also like college football. It cuts us down to 17,000 people, and then we sell them, Stanford football jerseys, and that's just like a beautiful, perfect example of the magic of Facebook ads. So let's get back into it. Interests here, we were in sports and outdoors, sports, car racing, tennis, triathlons, right? Technology, this is a great one. People who are interested in technology, for example, people who are interested in mobile phones, if you're selling like phone cases, for example, ebook readers, televisions. And so that is pretty much all of interests. And so interest is obviously a huge category. I know that's kind of a lot and it's kind of a grind, but I want to be more thorough where other people skip steps. And I think that's what sets apart kind of the Ninja courses, and why the Ninja family has so many more success stories than any other course, because I really make sure that everyone has the foundation that they need and they understand what they're doing, rather than just trying to like follow along the steps and tutorials. Because with thousands of people out there on YouTube and everywhere, right? If people are just trying to follow tutorials step by step by step, then everyone's going to do the same thing, which is why I try so hard to teach you guys how to actually understand this, how to get the wheels turning for yourself, how to really start to think about, these type of demographics and interests as they relate to your own business, and how to creatively, in unison, synergize, okay, that maybe that demographic mixed with this interest, and we'll try that as a split test. And maybe, we'll target people who are married, or maybe we'll target people who are interested in Starbucks, but are also interested in beer, if you had like a coffee alcohol drink or something like that, right? And so the whole point of this, guys, is really to get the wheels turning, and to kind of get you in the mindset of an advertiser, and to most importantly, show you what you have at your disposal, what actual, detailed targeting you can apply to find your perfect customer. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that one, guys. That was the interest category. And let's get to the next one, where we're going to discuss everything behaviors.